Have you used any of these masks in theater performance?
Well, yes, and it's been very interesting. I had a couple of mask workshops where everybody made a mask and they made it on their own face. And then we decorated them and we looked for objects that, you know, like were discarded in nature. We never like tore anything off a tree or anything, but if it was, you know, already discarded, we could pick it up and use that. And it was very, very rewarding. And then we did a performance. Each person had a voice or something that they discovered in that process of making that mask. And that was the origins of mask making, was for it to be therapeutic for the mask maker as well as for the audience or, you know, anybody who was involved.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri.
You did?
In a little suburb called Kirkwood, which is like the most idyllic place in the world to grow up. And my father took the steamboat, the showboat that used to go up and down the Mississippi River. It's a River Queen. He turned it into a seafood restaurant and a place to listen to jazz. So I sort of grew up in an atmosphere full of like socialites and politicians and musicians and all kinds of human beings. And they would live out their dramas on this steamboat in this atmosphere that was very, very rich. And so I'm sort of just used to, you know, witnessing and being a part of the human experience.
I could see you as a little kid. You have this beautiful essence about you that's very joyful and easy to be around. And I just thinking that you must have been raised in a loving home where art was easy at your reach.
Yes, my father's a stone sculptor. He's retired now. And my mother's a writer. She's a journalist. She worked for St. Louis magazine.
I know also that you're an author. Tell me about your books.
Well, I'm a mystery author.
That's pretty good.
And I did write a book titled Resurrection Diva. And it's a LA crime novel, really. And some people say that I'm the quintessential resurrection diva, that I keep popping up in different forms.
And solving your own mysteries.
Yeah, I don't know if you really want to solve them. I think mysteries are pretty much the spice of life. Knowing things is overrated, I believe. Discovering things, letting things be revealed to you, that's the secret to my joy, I think, is that I am always discovering and becoming.
And now we're into the comfort part of our show with these beautiful, comfortable chairs. Eva, I'm loving these chairs. They're really different from your dream theaters.
Yes.
Is that what that name?
Yes.
And they all look like, come and sit down and be comfortable and tell me about yourself. These could be shrink chairs. The shrinks had these kind of chairs. The sessions would go more quickly, I think, and more colorfully. So colorful. So tell me, what inspired you to do chairs?
Well, this is a very interesting series because it has been very successful and very popular. I've sold a lot of them, and they will be featured at Art Raw Gallery in New York in February. 4 of them, smaller versions, but you know, these chairs.
But the Calabasas people can buy these great big ones and get them in a minute, right?
That's right, they could.
Okay.
And what inspired them? I think, again, because of my theatrical background, you have to create a set and you have a relationship with a set. And the set should give you a feeling of what has transpired before or what might come up next, you know. So
or maybe the director's chair.
it could be that. It could be anything, really.
Or are these all in the bedroom? Are these
well,
bedroom
actually, the one that's behind you has more of a bedroom feeling, okay? Although this one here, it's called 3 a.m. So it might be like when you've been out all night dancing or, you know,
or you can't sleep.
Or maybe you can't sleep. That's very true. This one behind you is called evening. So it has more of a quiet but sensual feeling to it. This one is not a bedroom piece. This is more like a living room, but as you can see, there's laundry. Somebody's been doing laundry in there. So this has more of the feeling of like it was once a grand palace and now it's kind of, you know, become tarnished. and people do their laundry in it, and maybe people did their laundry and went into the back room and irresistibly fell into an embrace. I don't know. Anything could have happened. It's like I said, a stage set.
So this all goes to the mystery writer, the mystery person,
Right.
the person who could lounge in that chair,
Right.
or could jump up and do their very colorful laundry.
Yes, yes.
I know you do figures too.
Yes, I do.
And are your figures realistic?
Well, they're called luminosities. And basically, they capture the light of the person and express that.
The inner light?
Yeah, the inner light. And also, you know, you sort of carry around you a certain kind of energy. So
The Latin dancer light for me. That's one I would pick.
that sounds like a very beautiful light. I hope you will let me do your portrait.
Oh, I love to dance. Okay, let's talk about this. This is a beautiful piece of work, and it looks like a drawing.
Yeah, it's an etching. And etchings are different from drawings in that when you do an etching, you don't actually draw on this sheet of paper. This is just here to show you that
An
you could put any
example,
frame you
yeah.
like on it. You etch into sometimes steel or copper, or it could be something softer, and then you put ink on top of it, and then you can do a number of etchings.
So an etching is sort of like a carving.
It really is. You carve into something. Then you put ink on it and you roll the paper over the ink. So that's what an etching is. And etchings are like, I don't know if you've, let's go see my etchings. Etchings are a classic form of artistic record of the artist's work.
So do you have many etchings?
Yes, I do.
And about how much is an etching more affordable than a
Yes.
painting?
Much more affordable. And it's easier to place into your home. It's usually smaller. And, it's a sort of thing that is more available to people. Like they might like this work, but they might not have room for it. Or they might not be able to afford it, but they could afford an etching, And I do etchings of chairs. I do etchings of everything.
Well, this seems like a more serious design as well as in a more serious presentation.
Yeah, it has a classical connotation. This particular piece is called Guardian, and I kind of created it again as an idea of transformation. If a person has issues with boundaries, for example,
Yeah.
they could, sort of have this piece as a little reminder. Oh, I have to be guardian of my boundaries, and it's everything I do sort of has some sort of healing aspect to it for me, and then that, of course, I have that to offer to anyone who buys it or not. If they don't, they just like the colors, that's fine too.